Hi there everyone, my name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. This should be video 4 and it's probably going to be the last one, having to do with the frequencies that are hanging out near me right now. As an energy channeler, as an energy intuitive and empath, and an energy healer, energy feeler, and not an energy handler. That's like handling atomic waste. You have to have a specialized skill in that, and that's not me, nor is it anybody else, as far as I understand frequency. That I'm not here to handle your energy waste, any more than you're here to handle mine. It's why we're here and we're in a very undivine place with one another, is because we're not willing to deal with the hurt and the pain that have come from bad decisions. We can stop punishing one another at any moment, and I don't know how much sense it's making. The continuity from one video to the next doesn't matter. I'm kind of in my little lucid dreaming state and just waiting for divinity to keep dropping in the information to me, that as I was really having to put some firm boundaries down with what was immature energy coming slinging and swinging and bringing it to me over the last few days ago, and then spent a couple of days of just being very, sleeping and tired and feeling dragging, and yet being very called to go on ahead and go outside, take a walk out in Mother Nature. Go on ahead, you're in your new place, and go take a walk. And I saw, a swallowtail butterfly, which was absolutely gorgeous, yellow and black, just gorgeous, and a black-crowned heron. I'm from Florida, native Floridian, and never seen a heron any other color except white. And so it was quite, like, wow, I really do live in a diverse neighborhood, because there's a dark heron over there, and at first I thought it was a blue one, and he's black. He's a black-crowned heron, and has a very significant meaning spiritually to me, as I was unfolding my own divinity and reading about that and restoring that. I felt angry, irritated, irritable, that I've got all this bombastic energy that's slinging itself to me and bringing it to me, that whatever you're slinging with what you're bringing, man, what do you want me to do with that? And so I really went into some very deep meditation of, look, how can I do what I need to do to alchemize and transform that energy within me that's feeling that annoyance and that activation? I'm a human being. Okay, whether I can handle energy or not, whether I'm a spiritual warrior or a badass, it doesn't matter. I'm not, an ascended master that I walk on water and, all of a sudden I'm rising up off of a cross, and I'm a human being, and I have aggravation about this, and I got to find a way that I don't just want to, start making some phone calls and get, pretty nasty and ugly about what are you doing. And I don't like how I feel. That's why. It isn't that I'm goody two shoes or Mary Poppins on that one. It's like, I don't feel good when I've gone there in those places. Doesn't mean that I haven't had to be severe. It doesn't mean that I haven't had to put down some pretty hard and fast lines of absolutely not. That's undivine, and I'm not doing that with you ever again. Nope, it's not happening. And whoop, block. And blocking, I don't mean just physically blocking. I mean energetically blocking. And then, when there's just that keep on pressuring on with when there's a lot of planetary movement, when there's a lot of stuff in cosmology that's happening, and frequency is getting freaky near me. I'm very sensitive, highly sensitive to that. And if I'm wide open portals hanging and banging and not really understanding, I can be open to freaky frequency that sits down and tries to lodge with me. And that's not allowed, because it'll bring me into a crowd of crazy me that I don't like to be. And I spent a lot of time already being in that very unholy math with myself, and nope, I've spent 3 years digging out, and I'm not going to go back to that. However, how can I bring that resolution? How can we get that dissonance, that in music, that you have that great crescendo and then you have the release? That's what I want. So how do I get that for myself? I can't bring it for other people. I can alchemize what's in me that's being activated, and I can be the bridge and the channeler for some frequency that's healing, possibly for other people. However, if I start becoming that for other people, I can turn into some real enmeshed garbage right there in a heart second. 444, thank you very much. That no, that spiritual hygiene dictates to me that I'm responsible for my energy, and I'm here to teach other people how to be responsible for theirs too, so that you know how to get yourself out of your own boo-boo, and that we come at those equations with better math right from the beginning. And we're not all going to be quantum mathematicians right off the top. We're not all going to be pro athletes right off the top. We're not all going to be, musicians right off the top. And some of us are never going to be excellent at this or that or whatever. However, every single human being can be very excellent at their own spiritual hygiene. You have to know how to do that. And that begins with my emotional hygiene is my spiritual hygiene, because my own energetic address and my own energetic stamp is what will tell me that either makes me mad, that makes me sad, that how do I feel about that? And that'll get into some interesting places if you're with people who don't want to feel or don't want to be honest about what's really real. And I don't have time for unicorn land. I don't have time for hard and fast positions that are rigid and solid. And I don't have time. I'm too old and way too divorced and way too bombarded and here to do divinity's work, God's work, whatever your understanding is. I don't care, as long as, it's not going to be labeled something where, Kate's going to need to be dictated to about, you got to go stand on this platform and say this particular doctrine every day at this time a certain way and blah, 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 blah. I want to constantly be evolving, constantly be growing, and constantly be showing myself the newer frequencies that are being revealed to me, that as I'm being entrusted with that new information, I'm sharing it with thee. And as other people are sharing it with me and I'm growing and knowing, we're all going to excavate our caves and our closets in different ways and access newer frequencies at different rates, at different times, different dimensions, different understandings of ourselves. And so I seek of information gathering from a lot of different places that work for me, and Mother Nature is a great place for me to be to start that adventure. And so I go out for my walks and let divinity speak to me through Mother Nature and what I see and what I feel and how I come to arrive at the heal and the feel. And I have been overwhelmed with grief and overwhelmed with sadness and overwhelmed with and no more badness on that. No time for any shame blame session on what a dirtbag. No, that's not going to bring the healing. That's going to bring me in that lateral spin of feeling terrible about myself and never healing. So how can I bring healing to the feeling and feeling to the healing, so that energy that's coming at me that's feeling very sad and grief-stricken, how can I help to alchemize my part of that, so that should there be that courage to ever reach for that doorknob to open up the closet of wherever, whoever, whatever energy it is that was for days just bombastically coming at me. And I finally, put my foot up that one and said, no, stop that. Don't do that anymore. And then had to laugh. I had several days of sleeping. And then the last few days, just the most amazing dreams, lucid dreams of intense conversation that honesty, 808, thank you, is a great place to start. And honesty, frequency, and feelings are all the same thing. Truth is truth is truth is truth. And feelings, the human being is gifted already with that feeling and that healing of honesty. I know what feels right to me. Not good. Good is a very subjective term. What feels right to me in my body, in my frequency. And as I'm growing and knowing those more immature parts of myself, I don't want to be smashing my own self in the head with, well, I should know more than that, or I should, and I don't want to do that to anyone else. And so as someone who's out here on the leading edge of thought, perhaps, or a weirdo, however you define that, I'm good. I am, not looking to be abused or to be abusive, so, we're good on that one. Then believe what you believe. However, I'm willing to put it out there that I cannot bring you healing. However, I can bring you a bridge, perhaps, of how you can find your own healing through your own feeling. And I can offer to you the suggestion that in my own experience, after resting and having to rest and saying to my angels and to my divinity, look, my head hurts, I'm feeling confused again, I'm starting to get that overwhelmed, oh my God, and starting to get into that blame mode of why won't they, and the feeling of being victimized. That's an immediate, whoop of, ooh, I got to retrain that monkey mind. And that had to happen quite some time ago. With any time that feeling's getting ready to set in, that, yeah, I need that kinder mind drop in of, we're going down that road, the road that's, way traveled. It's not the one less traveled, it's the one most traveled. And we've already done that one. And no, don't do it. Don't go. And so I literally just had to say, okay, fine, I got to take myself out of commission entirely and, just go to sleep on this one, because I was starting to twitch weird. I was starting to have, some torques and twitches and some body movement disorder things that generally are under control pretty well. However, they were starting to get out of hand again, and I was starting to feel that confusion. And that's a way of being overwhelmed by energy that isn't mine. However, I'm starting to buy into that bullshit sublime. And no, it's too easy to get caught in that tidal wave, and it takes too much energy to come back from that. And life is happening right now, and I don't want to miss something because I'm busy being pummeled and back on the shore somewhere after I've been spit up from because I wasn't paying attention. So it's a matter of me and my spiritual hygiene, just stay better aware, and how may I go from here. And so the higher frequencies just said, yeah, you're going to feel real sleepy for a couple of days. And today I went out, and what do you know, unicorn sighting, that someone I met several days ago, nice woman that I met, in the new area that I live in. I had a nice long chat with her today, and it was just really nice to be able to meet someone at a frequency that feels better to me. And meeting other people and their divinity, and other people knowing that, yeah, we're not going to be besties or anything. We're not going to be hanging out and having tea or coffee or lunch or anything. You and me particularly, not everybody in my neighborhood is going to be my bestie or anything. However, being able to know that without it blowing my mind, without it ruining my day, without it feeling spooky or weird that, I have a nosy neighbor. Okay, she's nosy. Yeah, so what? I don't have to hate her. I don't have to, tag and bag her. I do need to keep her on the highly suspicious list of, just boundaries in general, energetic boundaries, physical boundaries, doesn't matter. And so as I'm coming into how can I deal with all this weird, freaky frequency, then I go out in Mother Nature and let Mother Nature sing to me and show me the beautiful butterflies, the beautiful cranes, the beautiful hawks, the beautiful energy that is surrounding me all the time. However, I needed to be way asleep in my sublime to not hear all the noise and the chatter. And that's not to say that I got to just go away and bag out on the rest of my day. It was a matter of consciously choosing, look, divinity, help me out, because I'm starting to get confused. I'm starting to, lose my bearing here on this. And so for a couple of days, I had to lay really low, nerd out, go with my autistic need to watch Last Man Standing, same freaking episode about 250 times, because that's what I needed to do, was rock and be me, boo-boo. I had to do what I had to do, and that's what I have to do every single time. That's what I have to do. And whatever it is that helps me return to that state of my divine, that's what I want to do every single time, because that's the math equation that is 2 + 2 = 4, that what's going to get Kate out the door. It's not going to be 2 + 2 should equal 4. However, we're going to try to do 2 + 3 = that instead. I already know that if I'm listening to what's in my ear and not what I fear, if I'm listening to what's in my ear of, divinity's telling me, freaky frequency, it ain't vibing me. What does vibe me? What does tribe me? And talking to a woman today that I had been thinking about her, like, I met her, I don't know, a week or 10 days, 2 weeks, a month, who knows? I met her a while ago, and I'd been thinking about her, and what do you know? Happened to run into her, and she goes, I've been thinking about you. Like, that's funny. I've been thinking about you too. And super nice lady, and had some really great things to say, some nuggets of information that helped me come back to my own little residence here and go, oh, cool. That's really neat. Unicorn school, I like it so much better than combat skills. I don't want to do combat drills. That's a horrible way to live. It's no fun, and it's exhausting for everyone. And I don't want to do MMA. I'm too old for it, and I never really liked it very much, and it just doesn't make me feel very good to know that I won. What did I win? You know, what did I win? I want to win by knowing that I survived near-death experience quite a long time ago, and I'm here. And the biggest near-death experience of surviving lately was, you know, an overwhelming wave of energy that was pretty pissed off and angry at me, and being able to laugh it off and go, yeah, okay, you know, whatever you got to do there, do it your way. No, whatever you need to do, you got to go, and know that, yes, it hurts my heart, it hurts me, it makes me cry, and I'm still not going to die from the grief of that. I will die. However, you can be sure that every day that I go forward, not being afraid of the pain, of the grief, of the loss, of the sadness, of the blah, 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 it's going to be helped immeasurably by not hanging out with energy that would be more than happy to remind me of all the terrible decisions that I've made and all the terrible things that I've done. And God forbid, allow anybody into my world that would allow me to do that to them, because that's just an old broken paradigm. It doesn't work. That punishing thing isn't going to bring about healing. I haven't seen that work yet, and there isn't anybody that's going to convince me of the quantum bullshit math on that, not one time. And I'm not going to lead anybody on a trip through the Akashic Records or anywhere else where we're going to discuss anything before, hey, you're your own energetic address first. You are your own energetic stamp, your own energetic signature, and you have your own power, your own nuclear power, and you got to get a hold of that power first before you start asking for somebody else to show you how to drive. It's like learning how to drive the car. You have your own car, you got to learn how to drive that first, and, you know, get in line with that. And we give people Ferraris and they don't know how to drive, you know, the little Atari yet. So get really in touch with your own divinity and understand that anywhere in your divinity where you're a neophyte and you are emotionally immature, you're not wrong, you're not bad, you're not stupid, and you're not necessarily needing to be a victim any longer, needing to be honest and real about those places where I'm being victimized or I'm victimizing, I'm overpowering or I'm being overpowered, and why may be very important. It may be more important to get to the, you know, safety factor first, get the safety concerns under control immediately, any of those immediately, and then start cleaning out the finer nuances of how can I do this without taking on any of the shame or blame that anybody else is willing to throw at me. And the greatest way that I've found to do that is stop throwing it out at thee, because for as long as I'm going to hold the equation that somebody else is responsible for my pain, my shame, my blame, blah, 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 that leaves me with the dead equation that's putting it out there that I'm just waiting for it to come back to me. And there is a certain amount of psychobabble garbage that, you know, projection and all of that. There's a quantum wave, because energetically right now, there are many people who are questioning, and in, you know, cycles. We're in a cycle. Astronomically, astrologically, cosmically, energetically, however you look at it, we are in a cycle of change. A supermoon is going to bring some change, and we're getting ready to Sagittarius supermoon in just a couple of days, and Gemini is, you know, quite the season high, and it's going to bring about some questions, perhaps. However, it doesn't matter. This is timeless as timeless can be, because energy is energy, and you can always get a hold of your own energy and your own synergy and your own emotional well-being at any time. However, if it's a time when there are other things happening, lunar, solar, planetary, whatever, might be a good idea to pay attention to those things, or if it's easier, start paying attention to what's within and get in that skin and say, what feels fine to me, what feels divine to me, and what doesn't feel so fine or divine to me, and really start moving in that what feels really divine to me, and define that for yourself, and allow yourself the room and the latitude with gratitude every time that it pops in to say, hey, I think that's pretty freaking spectacular of myself. I don't know that anybody else wants to hear your glory story. Depends. Do you have a bunch of people that are willing to support you in that, or are they just lying to you, or, you know, you lying to yourself? I mean, it just depends on your own thing. However, if you're able to really tell yourself, hey, I'm pretty rocking in this particular area, and believe that, Might be very empowering, probably is. And then say thank you every single place that you can genuinely say thank you for something that is good. I'm not telling you that you're going to be able to say thank you for the terrible stuff that's shown up in my life. Thank you for that. That's really not very reasonable for most people. And I'm not even going to tell you that I would just go happily say thank you to every one of the people that has hurt me any more than they're ready to say thank you my way, obviously, because quantumly we're still kind of, we're not clear on that. However, what I can say is I can say thank you to divinity bringing the skill to me that alchemy for me means I need to heal my heart so that I'm open and I'm a broader, bigger frequency of being able to help other people bring their healing to their heart and their frequency. I'm not the healer. People are their own healers. You have to be open to your own healing frequency. I can help bridge that gap and help you find that portal, perhaps, maybe, just like hundreds of other people have helped me. However, it's up to me and my divinity and my frequency and my understanding of me and my frequency in order to really know how to put that all together. And however you arrive at that, that's your business. And that's your divine, and it is most unholy for me to claim it as mine or to erect a monument and say, you must do it my way. I believe very much in the sacred, and sacred is what sacred is to you. Sacred is to me. And if we're creating holy trinergy, then that sacred will be what we experience as you and me and our three, that whatever three thing is, that trinergy is what is sacred. And if we're going to be doing trinergy that's Nagasaki or Hiroshima, I'm not interested. Thanks anyway, because I have way too many demonstrations from Mother Nature who's willing to say, here you go, baby. There's a whole other way that is just so much sweeter, so much kinder, and so much diviner and finer, and it just feels so much better and so much sweeter than to battle it out with personalities and egos. Every human being wants comfort, we want love, we want healing, and we want good feeling. And we don't just get it because, not at this point. We have to really work for it sometimes. I don't know any human being that's being handed the divine at birth and not having any challenges, because that's not the world that we live in, and it's not the dimension that we live in. We live in 3D, and anything above that is not scientifically mapped out already. And so, it's open business for you to go and grow as far as I'm concerned. And some people call that theology, philosophy, religion. I personally don't care. Call that the doctrine of you, and go do you, boo-boo, and I bet you'll be happier as a result. At least that's my guess. And if not, then you'll have every reason in the world to be dissatisfied and go find your own way, which is ultimately, for me, what I'm trying to say. So thank you very much for your time. I do hope that you find your own divinity in your own way, and that you can say at some point during your day, I'm grateful for this. And every time you can say that, say it again one more time, and then say it another time, and then set reminders for yourself if you have to, set the alarm on your phone, or every time you go to the bathroom, I'm going to be grateful for I have organs that help me to release whatever. Whatever. Sounds goofy, sounds stupid. If you're not willing to do that, then you're probably not listening to me anyway. However, if you are, do whatever works for you, and don't ask for anybody else's permission, because the first person that's going to be willing to knock you off your frequency, the minute they can, man, if they're feeling that threatened, they're going to. And man, that sucks, and it sucks as hard, and it's a hard way to go, to be knocked off your frequency and have to climb your way back up out of that crab bucket every time. Phoenix rising is a hard one whenever you get to be older and older and older. So here I go. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it, and I do hope that you enjoy your sublime, and get on into your skin, get within, find your sublime. It's fine. You're divine. It's absolutely fine, baby. Absolutely fine. Take care of yourselves, my friend, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.